Midwifery doesn't mean absence of complications. It means good management of complications. Hey mamas, it's your CajunStork here. Are you wondering how a midwife might handle a shoulder dystocia complication in an out-of-hospital birth? Well, today I'm going to give you a sneak peek of my birth emergencies class and how midwives handle those complications. But before I begin, my name is Midwife Kyra and I believe in truly natural birth because I know that it makes for better birth experiences. Consider subscribing to my channel and don't forget to get your midwife recommended birth packing and supply list down in the description below. Let's get started. The one birth emergency I really wanted to touch on today though, is shoulder dystocia. Does anyone know what that is? You do?
It's basically just when the shoulder gets stuck when it's coming out.
Yeah. The shoulder of the baby gets stuck on the mother's pubic bone. This means that somebody has to do something to get the baby out because the mother moving isn't always enough. When there's a shoulder dystocia, first we move the mom, and if that doesn't work, then we move the baby. I would love to tell you shoulder dystocia is very rare. Statistically, they say it's 1% to 2% of all births, and that midwives should have less than that because we serve a healthy, low-risk population. My statistics are 6%, and I don't know why. I don't know if that's happening because God's working on me, or if people keep coming to me with shoulder dystocias because I'm able to handle them. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I hate them and I curse about them every time, but I sadly have a lot of skill with them. I've also had shoulder dystocia of 7-pound babies. So it's not always the size of the baby. Sometimes it's structure of the mother, and we can't see that. Usually I have a heads up that your baby's gonna have a shoulder dystocia seconds before the birth. I don't know what it is. It's got to be intuition. I can't pinpoint what it is. When it's happening, I'm like, okay, this is about to happen. First thing I do is listen to baby's heart tones because I want to know that your baby sounds good so I know we have more time. In an out-of-hospital birth with healthy, low-risk women, with healthy babies and healthy placentas, we usually have quite a bit of time to work with shoulder dystocia. We have term babies that are head down, that are well oxygenated, and because of that, they just need a little help. Doctors don't have this luxury, so when you read about or Google or watch YouTube videos on shoulder dystocia, you're going to see a lot of scary stuff out there, and it's because doctors are dealing with high-risk women. They're dealing with babies who don't have good fetal heart tones, where in our case we would be transferring you. They have higher risk situations. Sometimes they've never seen a woman prenatally at all. The woman walks in off the street and has a baby. We're not in that situation. So we have time. In the hospital, some physicians will immediately cut an episiotomy, which means they cut the vagina with scissors and immediately start working to get the baby out, usually working on the baby first. But in midwifery, we move the mom first. So most of my clients are delivering in a hands and knees position anyway. When you're in hands and knees, your pelvis is open by 30% more than it would have been had you're on your back. So number one, if mom's not in a hands and knees position, we're moving the mother to a hands and knees position. Hands and knees almost always gets the baby out, and if it doesn't, it helps me access the baby. If that doesn't work, the next thing I would do is put you back on your back and do something called McRoberts maneuver, which means you're flat on your back, which I know that sounds counterproductive, right? 30% less space. But we do a very special thing with your legs. We don't open them wide, we open them back. So literally shoving your knees into your chest. And what that does is it lifts the pubic bone off the baby's shoulders. And the babies usually slide right out after that. If that doesn't work, while you're in that position, Rachel or I will apply pressure right above your pubic bone to the baby's shoulder, which kind of shrinks that circumference of their shoulders and helps them slide out while you're in that position. Not all, in fact, I wouldn't even say not even most, of my shoulder dystocias require resuscitation. Babies are usually fine. They're not happy about it because I had to mess with them, but they're fine. My last resort, and this is the reason why I'm talking to you guys about this today, because this is the part that's unpleasant. So I want to prep you guys about anything I might do that might be unpleasant in your birth. This is one of them. Emily had this done to her. Not all shoulder dystocias are because of the pubic bone. If you have a baby like Ian, which is Emily's son, Ian decided to be born like this. When a baby's in a position like this, his shoulders are the most squared off that they can be, and now he's stuck on the pubic bone because his arms are funky. Until I fix his arms, Ian can't be born, not because he's too big to fit, but because he has made himself too wide to fit in that position, and I need to resolve it. Which means, as a last case resort of getting your baby out, after 2 to 4 minutes of trying other maneuvers of moving mom, I will insert my hands into both sides of the baby, which means inside of your vagina, and manually turn the baby to deliver the baby. In Ian's case, that meant I had to, I think he was like this. I had to like pinch his fingers so he would move his hand back and rotate him a little, and then undo this arm and pull it out and deliver his bottom arm so I could deliver his top arm. So what that looks like is you in a hands and knees position with me with both of my hands in there, manually turning or reaching in with my thumb and my finger and delivering your baby. I have never torn a woman doing this. Praise God, I don't know how, I have not. I try to be mindful of how unpleasant this is, but also, you hired me to get your baby out, and I'm gonna get your baby out. I'm gonna do what it takes to get your baby out. And like Emily said, I trust you, I know you know what you're doing, we'll talk about it later, just get the baby out, you know? So knowing that from mom to mom, not midwife to mom, but from mom to mom, I know that I would rather you insert your hands and stretch out my vagina than I'd rather you break my baby's clavicle. And I'd like to hope we're all on the same page about that. These emergencies could happen at any birth location. So don't forget that. The thing about it, in my opinion, is that when you have a relationship with your provider, instead of going, oh my God, that doctor or midwife stuck their hands up in my vagina and like turned my baby and ripped my baby out. Now you're like, my midwife got in there and saved my baby. Because there's an understanding there of knowing she wasn't just rushing because it's 5 o'clock. And she knows my history of trauma and she doesn't want me to be triggered, but she had to do it to save my baby, whatever the case may be. I feel like having the relationships, no matter where you give birth, if you're gonna have a shoulder dystocia, you're gonna have a shoulder dystocia. I've heard that shoulder dystocias in the hospital don't go very well, but I've also seen doctors handle it very well too, so it's kind of mixed. But so far, I haven't had to repair any of my mamas with a shoulder dystocia, meaning no vaginal tears. And I haven't broken any of my babies. And I've had way more than I even want to tell you I've had. I hope that that gives you some peace that if that happens, you're still in good hands. Midwifery doesn't mean absence of complications. It means good management of complications. Questions about that? This is why I hate this class. You're all like, oh my God. Click right here to see 2 other common birth emergencies that midwives can handle out of hospital. I'll see you guys over there. Bye-bye.